a great matchup coming up between Foxy and FunkOff. So Foxy, known as one of the best settings players, he's Aeon here, and FunkOff is playing as UEF, a really great 1v1 player. This is a ranked game in Fortune Alliance Forever ladder that's just starting. Funk is currently number 2, and Foxy really hasn't played that many games. Not many people have. But this will be a very good matchup between two great players. We see Funk went first factory with air. The contrast with first factory land for Foxy. First bomber is made at 2 minutes. Tech 1 bomber is going to look for NGs. Looks like we got an NG from Foxy out in the distance. So the best thing to do with the early T1 bomber is to take out the expanding NGs. That's exactly what that bomber does. So more NGs going to the side. Really no scouting really is necessary. It is expected for the other player to have the NGs walking, taking out these outside mass extractors. Funk still got his ACU spamming power at the base while Foxy is pushing it pretty hard into the middle. Notice not too much ground at all yet from Funk. He's been doing everything with his bombers. Looks like it got 4 NGs total. I see the flares with no counter really. Now finally some mech marines and a bomber. A couple flares from Foxy getting behind Funk's base. However, they most likely will be killed by tanks. That's still a nice piece of harassment. 4 tanks from Funk. We're gonna get around and do some damage in Foxy's mass extractors. Foxy throws in most of his force. Try to counter this. Foxy's grandpa really is at the forefront of his base, and Funk upgrading his ACU looks like to T2. 6 minutes 30 seconds. Funk has got a T2 ACU and now spamming T2 PDs. It's a very good unit. Here is going to basically clean most of this area for him. But in terms of numbers of tanks, Foxy definitely has a pretty big advantage. Able to attack on both sides of the map, doing a lot of harassment. But you can see how effective this unit is. Already got 6 kills. It's kind of reminiscent of the Punisher from TA. We can see Foxy getting a gun in his ACU. Funk continues his T2PD creep. He already has 2 of them. Now he'll build another to attack directly at Foxy's factories. Foxy doesn't really have much of an advantage anymore on the ground, and air has been completely dominated by Funk. And now Funk has a T2PD that's killing the air factory for Foxy. And yet another T2PD being built by Funk. Foxy decides to move and be aggressive. Runs into T1 PD that has already got 14-15 kills. It's a 2-star veteran. But really nice placement on these T2 PDs by Funk, and now he's got his 5th T2 PD. Nice to see a 2-star T1 PD here from Funk actually regenerating itself. And that looks like a tactical missile launcher being built by Funk. A T2 factory from Foxy is going to make some mobile missile launchers, as well as his own T2 point defense. This is to counter the T2 PD from Funk. Foxy attacking around the edge of the map. Only has tanks and runs into another well-placed T1 PD from Funk. This T1 PDs from Funk has been really deadly. Funk is being really aggressive with his T2 creep. However, these PDs are not being shot with some missiles. Foxy getting yet another upgrade in his ACU. Now the T2 PD from Aeon doing their job. Air still completely belongs to FunkOff, and tactical missile defense from Foxy to prevent the missiles being fired by Funk. Really not many targets, only the T2 factory, the only target for that missile. Interesting to see both players going around the outside. Another 4 tanks from Funk. It seems to be a pattern. He's always sending 4 tanks around the outside, doing quite a bit of damage. Now Foxy with the ACU that has 2 gun upgrades decides to move in a little bit. The missile launchers from Foxy are doing a good job pushing back the T2 PD creep. The total air domination and some serious bombing going on against Foxy here. Really, a single T2 flag here would really help him out. He does have a few T1 AAs. Really should be sufficient against T1 bombing force. And we see some Mongoose and some missile launchers from Funk, and his ACU is being upgraded, most likely the gun. We see an NG fight, Aeon, UEF, and it looks like Funk got the reclaim on first. And now it's going to be reclaiming instead of capturing for some reason from Funk. You see Fox's ACU sitting on 15 kills. Funk has T2 and the gun on his ACU, a very dangerous weapon from UEF. And so Foxy needs to be careful and retreat. Even though the gun on the Aeon ACU here with 2 upgrades is better, the UEF ACU with the T2 engineering has much more health. And we see a missile launcher from Funk taking out T2 PDs, a really nice weapon. Pretty intense battle here, 2 ACUs. Funk backed up by a bunch of T2 and Foxy backed up by a bunch of Auroras, and now we see that AA flak that's basically completely given air back to Foxy. And he's got a pretty nice T1 Air Force. Funk choosing to retreat. Actually, it looks very even now. Both players have their half of the map. And now it looks like Foxy does have air control. Another attack from Funk. See T2 PDs from Aeon really pretty devastating against Mongoose. Well, Funk is going to move his ACU directly into the middle of Foxy's base. That might be a little dangerous. He does have T2 PD. Now Fox actually going pretty low on health here at 4K at 20 kills. Funk at 10K. Really not much to worry about for him. Nice to see NG's just walking around the field reclaiming random things. Need to claim those mass extractors completely undefended. Yet another ACU versus ACU confrontation. Fox actually going pretty low on health here. And Funk playing it safe. He has much more health on his ACU than Foxy. Could have been more aggressive, but chose to be safe. Funk sending his ACU off to the side all by himself, getting some radar. Most likely will build T2 PDs. We see cruise missiles being fired by Funk. However, it looks like this tactical missile defense from Aeon does its job. Now Funk walks back but runs into a T2 PD once again. Nice to see some pillars. A nice UEF T2 tank. A T1 point defense to make sure that nothing slips through. But these pillars can really go around. Some T2 tanks from Foxy. Here we see a tank behind a hill versus a few NGs just looking at each other. Now we see T2 ground versus a T1 PD stationary. See how powerful these pillars are. They're really outnumbered. Nice to see mobile shields. Funk getting another T2 PD base going. Trying to get a foothold on Foxy's side. And now we see Mercies. Mercy was rejected by the shield. Actually would have been pretty close. Probably 2 Mercies would be necessary to kill Funk at this point. FunkOff pushing even further. He's got a lot of mobile missile launchers protected by a shield and a few tanks, preventing Foxy from making any T2 PD. Although the missile defense from Aeon is quite powerful. Mobile shields from both players. Now Foxy being very just hit 40 kill veterancy. You see some T2 gunships from Funk, and Foxy gets a little too close to Funk's ACU and dies. So that was a pretty entertaining game. Hope you all enjoyed it.